More than 140 years ago, the United States was one of 17 countries to sign the Treaty of the Meter. Of these 17 countries, 16 of them now use the metric system as their national unit of system of measurement. Why then do we not use the metric system like these other 16 countries? I've traveled through Canada and sailed in the Caribbean and can attest that this does have substantial advantages, this metric system. US, as of now, is one of only 3 countries that still do not use the metric system. The other 2 are Burma and Liberia, 2 countries in Southeast Asia. There are a number of reasons for this unfortunate phenomenon. So there were national pride or considerations about the money involved in completing this process. Except these US customary units, or imperial units as they're more commonly known as, are more of a source of embarrassment right now nationally. And we lose money every year that we stick to these units. Metrification will simplify retail and construction and make our daily lives much simpler. One of these major advantages to the metric system is in the math. Length, volume, and height can all be modified by prefixes to represent any scale of units. All of these modifications are in units of 10. 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. A meter is 1,000 millimeters. 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter. 100 centimeters is a meter. So say I wanted to stop at a port 50 meters out. I have gone under 1 kilometer, and I immediately know that I have 1,000 more meters to go. I need 950 more meters to come to a stop. But if I were to be using the imperial system, which the distance would be measured in miles and feet, after I've gone under a mile, I will not immediately know how many more feet I need to go to get to a stop. You can just subtract any number from 5,280 on the fly while navigating a sailboat through a port. These ratios are true, and the simplicity of these calculations are accurate for all units of metric, such as the liter and the gram, and also a few other measurements that are used in the sciences. The byte, used for digital storage; watt, used to measure power; newton, which measures force; and the ohm, to measure electrical resistance. Imperial units, however, dwarf in comparison as far as utility is concerned. Unlike the metric system, the imperial system does not use a consistent modifier. Some of these numbers we see up here are 12, 3, 16, 2, 4, 2,000, 5,280, 1,760. These 12 is the ratio for feet to inches, 3 is the ratio for feet to yards, 8 is the ratio for fluid ounces to quart, 16 the ratio for ounces to pounds, and 4 the quart to gallon. Worst of these all is 5,280 feet to miles. These examples are only a few that are used regularly. From a National Institute of Standards and Technology article entitled Weights and Measurements of the United States, we find that some nautical and surveying measurements become much more bizarre, such as the link. The only way it's defined is 33/50ths of a foot, and is used in U.S. survey. The survey foot, which is 1,200 over 3,936 meters. There is no imperial equivalent. It's also used in U.S. survey. The nautical mile, which is used in marine measurements and traversing or traveling, is equal to 1.151 miles. But here's the kicker for all that. Every U.S. unit can be measured is already defined in metric. This started in 1893, less than 20 years after the signing of the Treaty of the Meter, obviously to fill an obligation to allow accurate measurement of imports and exports through the U.S. Keeping this complicated system does no favors to the U.S. While completing the process of metrication means many changes, like new road signs for the highways and new measuring instruments for the schools, Patrick Naughton, in an article by him, calculates that the lost money every year from not converting is $6.1 billion. Patrick Naughton is considered an expert on the subject in the world, subject being metrication. Words from the National Institute of Standards and Technology, a division of the U.S. Department of Commerce. Besides this, there have been other mistakes that are much more costly in recent history. In 1999, the Mars orbiter burned up in the atmosphere of Mars because it came too close to the atmosphere, wasting $125 million. This error was attributed to conversion errors within the computer. But enough about natural catastrophes. On a more local level, growing up without the metric system in our lives, U.S. citizens struggle to find jobs because they can't perform these critical functions. And if we were to convert to the metric system, it would make all United States citizens more competitive overseas. Additionally, hardware supply stores and retail stores will be able to cut inventory in half, potentially doubling efficiency. And construction will become twice as easier because there's half of the nail and screw sizes. Recognizing a superior system and incorporating it is something to be proud of. Clinging to the past is not. Resisting conversion will only damage the United States, and it's going to start paying off immediately. The sooner the United States converts and joins the rest of the world, the better.